Do you think that your wife also expects support from you? What is it that we're doing wrong?
There are times you are tired.
Men likes to be spots. That's another thing we want from women.
Yeah.
Women should respect that.
Is he ready to talk now?
As a man, if you want to live long, hey, money, just hand it over. You will live long. And I think women like that because
Encourage you. Keep moving. God loves you. Preparedness. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ayobami Abraham. Ayobami Abraham. Welcome to my channel. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Ayobami Abraham. I know it's been a while, but we're here. Anyways, today I have two guests in the studio. We're going to be talking. Did I say studio? Don't worry, we're getting there. And they're laughing. It's a prophetic word. Anyways, we're getting there. Now, I have Bro Olumide and Bro Aki on my left. And today, we're going to be talking about what men really want, especially Christian men. What do you want? That's the question for today. I'm going to throw it open to Bro Aki. Bro Aki, what do men want?
thank you for having me on the show. I think that's $1 million question. There is a rider to that question because she's been able to say Christian men, and I am a Christian man, okay? Well, what do I want from my wife? Lots of things. I think the first thing I want is a relationship. You want a woman you will be able to relate with, a woman that you'll be able to have the same understanding with, a woman you'll be able to, share knowledge with. And I recall that my wife and I sometimes will read, scriptures together, we read books together. So as a man, I want that from my wife. Not like I say, oh, can we read this together? And she's like, oh no, I don't like to read. That level of understanding in terms of relationship is the first thing I want about my wife. So number two, as a man, I want love. Because for me, love is the nucleus, like the center of the whole thing. Because I believe that without that love, there can't be the characteristics of love, like trust, like transparency. I think love takes everything along, So I don't want to say everything for now because I'm actually loaded.
Oh, it's loaded.
It's loading.
But I just want to quickly say something.
Yeah.
So basically, for your first point, you're looking at someone who is kind of like on the same level with you intellectually, not someone that you're here and then the person is here.
No. And if I see that it's the other way you just painted now, I'm going to try my best to bring them up to my level.
Yeah.
Because until then, we cannot relate. Even the Bible says in Amos 3:3, can two walk together except they be agreed. The agreement in understanding.
So basically, she should be able to challenge you intellectually.
Exactly.
And then love.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's the
you-
grease. It's the thing that makes the
always
wheels
the
go
grease.
wrong.
It's a lubricant.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think I like that. Rolling with it.
Yeah. I think the question is very. I like the question actually. I think one of the things that I like to see. Of course, my wife has been doing it a lot. Is support, because there are times we men we carry a lot of load. You have to think about your family, you have to think about your children, you have to think about your wife, and aside from that, you have a 9-to-5 job. You have a ministry as a Christian man. Of course, that's a calling because whatever 9-to-5 job we do is just is something to sustain the real mission that God has actually given to us. So you need a woman who is understanding, right? And so that support is very key. And there's this popular adage that behind every successful man is a woman, right? So there has to be support. And I believe every Christian man, especially if you are into one ministry or the other, you need an era and a right? Someone to support you, to hold your hand, to encourage you. Because in life, there are up and downs, right? And ups and downs. And definitely, at your low moments. You need someone to actually look at you and say, okay, no, don't worry, you can't give up on this matter. Come on, keep running, right? And I thank God for the type of what God gave me. Actually, I actually see that a lot. Several occasions she has actually, pulled my hand and give me some level of encouragement in several areas. So support is very key, and that is what everyone is looking for.
That's really great. I'm just wondering, you mentioned ministry. So what happens, like, do you think that your wife also expects support from you when it comes to her own ministry as well?
Oh yes, because it's a relationship, right? And for you to be successful, as Bracken mentions, can two work together except they agree? There has to be some level of agreement, right? You have your vision, you have your calling, what God has put in your mind. Yeah, as God is working on you, God is also working on her, and it is expected of you as a husband and head of the home to give that support morally, emotionally, spiritually to that for your wife. Otherwise, if she's not successful, how will you be able to, you can't be successful in your ministry as well.
Exactly.
So, it's a relationship, and you have to support one another because you're working towards a simple, towards a goal.
Awesome. I like that. Now I'm going to just switch this and say, what is it that we're doing wrong? Because, what are we doing wrong? Are we doing anything wrong?
You see, there are times, because of the fact that a man, you are the head of the home, you carry lots of load, right? You're thinking about school fees, you're thinking about, okay, how this child is going to do well, you are also thinking about your wife, you are providing some level of support and protection for that family. There are times you are tired. There are times you feel, I just want to be alone. I need some time of elopement, right? Just want to get somewhere, just be alone. I think women should respect that. When we feel we just need to have some time to rewind, to take inventory, to pray, to just be alone and move away a little bit from all the responsibility and refocus on things that will also move the family forward. So at that point in time, of course, that's also where communication comes in.
Yeah.
We have to communicate.
Exactly.
But more importantly, I think women should also understand that, there are times, this man is not a robot, right? There are times he's going to be out with downtime and he actually needs to recharge. Yeah, he needs to recharge.
I think it's key in terms of communication,
That's
right? You don't just say, oh, I just need some time to recharge. I feel like you need to walk me through what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Why did you come to that decision that you need some time to recharge? Because she might actually be feeling like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
Right? What are you doing that no man outside is doing? But you have to kind of like walk her through what you're thinking, and you're like, oh, lately this project has been so much on me, and then the kids, and then I feel I need this time.
I was going to say, for me, I see this topic as something for both the man and the woman. It has to be mutually inclusive, because both of you have to agree. And I also agree with Burundi. Sometimes as a man, you feel like you need your space, but that has happened to me a number of times. But I feel like, hey, she's also a human being. She needs her space too. This woman takes care of the children. Of course, we both do. There are times I with the kids, dress them up. I know, they are growing up. They are fast forward, So, but I feel if the man and the woman can come to that level of understanding where you're able to discuss topics, you're able to discuss your challenges like you just mentioned now. Nothing will be too big for the family to cope with, because if I say I need my space, she also needs her space, because I see that for my wife, for instance, she's actually saddled with a lot of responsibilities. For me, in terms of finance, I don't bother myself. She takes care of everything. When you talk about paying offering or even paying tithes, it's my wife that decides how much you pay. I don't care about that, because I've come to understand that as a man, if you want to live long, hey, money, just hand it over. You will live long. And I think women like that, because they be like, what do you call it now? The head of the finance department,
CFO.
the CFO, something like that. So, and my wife really loves that. And anytime we have, she needs money, and then she asks me, I'll be like, why are you asking? Well, you know where the money is. For God's sake, I want rest of mind. I don't want money.
I don't want to think about
me. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. So as a man, I want that from my wife. And you asked the question the other time, the areas where you think maybe women are failing. For me,
Could do better.
could do better. I feel, as a man, I see myself as the head, but I have my head on my body, and my body is not feeling any pain. So I want to be such a man that, like I get home and the kids run, into hiding, or I get home and the home begins to shake and quake and everybody is terrified. No, there should be the love and the joy and the peace. But if you turn it around, I also want such a home where I get home and I'm not afraid to go home.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid to look at my wife eyeball to eyeball. I remember telling my wife and saying, hey, if your man gets to a point that he begins to fear you, he's a goner. You've lost him.
Yeah.
Because he'll begin to indulge in things and you would never be able to catch him. By the time you will catch him, he would be gone. You've lost him.
Yeah.
Because he'll begin to indulge in things and you would never be able to catch him. By the time you will catch him, he would be gone. You would have lost him. So don't let your man be afraid of you. Let your man be comfortable in your presence. Let your man be, eager to, go home and talk to the wife. I remember, at the early days when we first got married, I'll deliberately, my workplace would be from like the western side and my wife is coming from the eastern part.
Yeah.
We would deliberately, I'll wait in the office because she travels a longer distance and then we'll meet at a particular point and then we're holding hands and we're going home. Instead of even taking maybe a bike or maybe a tricycle or a taxi, we decide to even walk, that kind of thing, even though I know it's difficult to do in a place like this because of the long distances. But I feel women they have to buckle up in that area.
Yeah.
Don't terrify your man. Okay? Because if you do that, you will lose his confidence, you will lose his trust, you will lose his love, you will lose his support, you will make him an animal. And men naturally could be animalistic.
Yeah.
And so if you do that, you are opening the door already to that other part, that base part of every man. Of course, for Christian men, you expect that we are born again. But there are some things that being born again does not take care of. You have to develop yourself in doing those things. And that's where communication comes in again and again and again. And so sometimes if I've offended my wife, I may not have the courage to say, hey, this is what I've done because I know I've done this. But I'm like, even we offend God and God forgives us. What's the big deal? And then my wife is so amiable that sometimes she'll be the first person to even bring up the issue and say, hey, my husband, you did this earlier today. And I'll be so ashamed. But really, that's the when the Bible talks about Adam and Eve, they were naked in the garden. For me, that's that nakedness. The ability to understand that both of you see one into another. And what should you be ashamed of?
Exactly.
So I love that.
I love it. That's like you touched on so many points, and I really, really appreciate it. I feel like for women sometimes it may seem like maybe we talk too much about a particular point, and I feel like it comes from a place of concern or it comes from a place of passion. We just want to see a particular thing done, and then on your part as a man, you're like, why is she bugging me? Why would she just let me rest? And then it now looks like the house is too hot for you. I feel finding that balance, communication is key.
Yeah, if I can quickly jump in, communication is very key, but I think there's an aspect that a lot of couples actually miss is around, the fact that as a man, you face a lot of challenges, pressure from work. There are times, let's assume you're working and your boss just don't believe in you. Your colleagues, they don't believe in you. People in your office, they don't believe in you. As a man, you need just someone to believe in you. And that's why most times we keep looking forward. Okay, if my boss does not believe in me, my colleagues, they don't believe in me, and people around me don't believe in me, but at least I have someone that I know believes in me.
Yeah.
So if you come home, or you get home, and with the mind that, I'm looking forward to my wife, I've been beaten today, so I need someone to lift me up. And again,
Fire.
Fire. then that could actually kill the spirit of that man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we need to, women need to actually pay attention to that and be very sensitive. Of course, I know women they want communication. Communication is key, but at the same time, the reason why a lot of men don't usually feel, they're being nagged or bugged, is as a result of the fact that women are not sensitive in some area. You are not discerning, let me use the word discerning enough to know when this man is at his best, high spirit, and when he's low. If you can actually, identify those moments, you'll be able to get the attention of the
And I can quickly cut in there. I agree with Brolin there 100%. But I also see the flip side to this discourse. That for us as men, you didn't ask the question, but sometimes you also ask, what do women want from their men? For us as men, we see women as our world.
Yeah.
And that's a very big concept. I think as a man, you have to understand what your wife also likes.
Yeah.
For instance, I know that my wife, she likes this particular thing. So if I see that probably she's down, she's not in good spirits, I'll just say, hey, come on, let's go do this thing. And then before you know, because she loves that. For instance, Christian women, they love to pray.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a man, you want to encourage their spirit, you get to pray. Even if you're not enjoying it, but at least you get to the point where you connect with the spirit of God. God, just forgive me because I started this prayer somehow, but now I think I'm feeling better in prayer.
Yeah.
And sometimes when my wife calls us to pray like that, maybe initially I'll be the one who is still struggling, trying to doze, cope with sleep. And then at the point, I just pick up in the spirit, and then it's a turn to doze. And what I do is just, the spirit of God just minister and say, hey, let her rest.
Yeah.
She needs the rest.
Yeah.
So men also need to have that kind of understanding. And then the man just fire. I remember there was a night we were just like, and my wife was like, oh, she was feeling somehow, she was feeling this kind of thing. Maybe something in the atmosphere, women feel a lot of things. That's another thing. Because they see beyond what we men see. And I just stood up and I was like, no, that cannot be, not in my house. And I said, hey, just go and sleep. And I started praying right there, clearing the atmosphere, purging the air. She slept like a baby. That's what it means for me to also be a man, understanding your wife's needs and understanding what your wife loves. Men likes to be spoiled. That's another thing we want from women because we're babies. Sometimes I tell my kids, hey, I'm your mommy's number one baby. How can that be? You're a grown up. I said you can't understand. Before you were born, So men love to be pampered. I know there are times we could be stubborn, where your wife says, hey, you cannot eat that thing. And you feel like, but I've been eating this other thing. You cannot do that. But I need to just spoil myself a moment. Just give me the space. And your wife will be like, okay. Because if anything goes wrong with a man, it comes back to the woman. She has to be running up and down. And I see that God has given us these women, and that's to all women, in the house, to as a kind of caretaker, as a kind of watch woman or watch lady now, to watch over that man, because men could be careless. They feel like, oh, I have the muscle, I have this, but from that carelessness, you just fall, you could become sick, you could take poison or something. So women are always a step ahead in that regard, and I really respect that. So my point is that as a man, you also need to pamper your wife. Find what they love and give it to them. For instance, my wife, she loves to sing apart from praying, and so sometimes I feel like, it's been a long time we did a song. Okay, let's just get around the piano and do something. Sing. You will see that she really loves it. She comes back alive, So, but if we have weeks just going by and nothing like that happens, and we're just eating and sleeping and drinking, the woman is like, she's not feeling the spirit. So women always like to have that kind of thing. I see it as a kind of pampering too. So as men, we need to, demonstrate that.
Sorry, I just from what you said, just finding that time in spite of the business, still finding a way to connect. People have different ways of connecting. I mean, like in the case of your wife, people have different ways of connecting. And I want to go back to the point that you raised. we also kind of like need to be sensitive to see that, oh, he's coming in, his countenance, it looks different. Is he ready to talk now?
Yeah.
That's another thing, because
Yeah.
they may not, you may not be ready to talk right now. You probably want to give it some time before talking about it. Right?
Yeah. Generally, it's natural, because the man has gone to work and the woman also gone to her place of work, and she's just coming back. She wants to, offload everything that she has gone through at her place of work, right? Not knowing that, okay, the man has also gone through. And the way men and women handle all these situations, they are completely different.
Yeah.
The man wants to be reserved, the one wants to think about it, he just want to be alone.
Yeah.
Whereas the woman says, yes, my savior has come. Okay, let me just
pour
everything out. And once I pour it out,
I'm fine. I'm not looking for a solution.
Exactly.
I just want to vent.
Exactly. So I think that level of sensitivity, we need to be sensitive and understand when the other party is ready to talk and when it's not ready to talk. I think that would go a long way. But another point I would like to also mention from this on the flip side is women. We need to really consider our wives, right? Like my wife, for instance, she just likes me. You see, if every man, all men in the world appreciate my wife, and I haven't said a single word, it's like nothing has happened. So when she's going to work in the morning, I just want to look at her and say, "Oh, you're beautiful." That has been that. Right? There are times deliberately during my break time, I just take off time and take my text and said, look, you are the best woman in the world.
Yeah.
You make my world. I just said some
deliberate.
And my wife also, there are times she looks at me as, this is my pastor.
Yeah.
And she always looks forward to my prayer, right? When she's going to work, she said, Daddy, you've not prayed for me. And there are times too, I always look forward to her. I just need that word of encouragement from her. Just look at me and say, don't worry, you're going to have a new story very soon. So that level of communication and partnership and relationship is key to actually. So it's not just what do men want from women.
Yeah.
Right? It should be it's mutual, right? It's mutual. So
at the end of the day, two have become one.
Exactly.
So now that we're supposed to be talking about it.
Because we can't avoid that.
We can't.
It's like so we don't become is it April?
Yeah.
Who was half baked.
Yeah.
The cake not turned. So
turned.
we don't want that kind of situation. You
Yeah.
want a balanced discourse.
Yeah.
So that's a very lovely one,
Yeah.
Brother Mide, and I'm really impressed with that because your wife needs to see you as the shepherd of the home.
Yeah.
Your wife should see you. Paul was talking about a woman praying with her head not covered, and there are so many women like that.
Yeah.
They have no heads, and they are just roaming around. Like somebody said, you go to a prayer house, most of the people you find there will be women because they don't have any man. So, but if as a woman you have a man in your life, I mean a man in your life, somebody who shoulders the responsibilities, a covering, a shelter, the one who provides for the needs, the one who doesn't care even about his own needs.
Yeah.
And sometimes it will not be your wife reminding you that, hey, you need to buy a new pair of shoes because this one, you're like, I'm not even thinking about that because all you're thinking about is to meet the needs of the family, especially when you have kids. So I think we really love that side about women when they try to feel our needs and support us, and we can cry on their shoulders like, please, we like to do that. No, I'm serious. And I know someone is blushing at you because it's the reality.
Blush.
It's the reality. So I feel that is the weak part of men. Men could be stubborn,
but there is
they are
gooey
part.
I look up to my wife as my mother.
That's
and the reason is because I've seen a lot of similarities between her and my mom. I lost my mom very early, and and the truth is, she's been able to fill that role perfectly. Because many times she just the type of word and the level of compassion I see on her face. At times when I'm going through some challenges or going through some difficult times, I could see her cuddling me like, my baby. So she calls me her baby. Said, my baby, don't worry. It's going to be okay, And that kind of gives you that, even though if you failed 100 times, there's someone that believes in you. Men needs that. That There's someone, if I've failed, if I've messed up, there's someone that we always trust and believe in me. Of course, God is our Father.
Yeah.
God is always there for us, but at the same time, we need someone we can see.
Mm-hmm.
We can see God. God is a spirit. He's our Father. We feel Him, but we need someone that will give that expression of God in the physical.
I love that. I was
Yeah.
going to say another thing that men
Yeah.
want from their wives is that men sometimes we are forgetful.
Yeah.
That happens to me.
Yeah.
But most times your wife can be like your calendar,
Yeah.
your reminder.
Yeah.
And it's not that we say, hey, my husband, have you forgotten about it? I'll say, oh, look at me, I forgot.
Yes, we always remind you.
I think women have that extra storage capacity.
Yes,
as they say.
multitasking.
Yeah, they can process that thing. Men can be very slow. And I know sometimes women take that as an offense, some kind of misunderstanding, but it's on both sides. Women fail to understand that we are men does not mean you are almighty.
Yeah.
No. The man has his own weaknesses. And one for me is that I will forget what I should have done. And then it's my wife that will say, hey, look at this, look at that deadline, look at this other deadline. Because women are very timely.
Yeah.
They are business-like, they are entrepreneurial in their thinking.
Yeah.
I always tell myself, women are enterprising, you know. So I see that as a positive thing for the family, where the man is lagging behind in some aspects and the woman feels the void. You know, they complement each other. We're not competing. We're complementing. You know. So I really love that kind of thing. For me, and I know for Bernie as well, we've seen this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and I know even for our interviewer here, she can say the same thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you pray through to getting to know God's will in marriage, and you know this is God's will for you.
Yeah.
I wanted to marry because I had arts and humanities background, you know. So by human thinking, I was like, oh, I should get married to somebody maybe who has a science background or probably engineering, mathematics background. And I remember there was someone that somebody was on my behalf trying to connect with. I was like, why would you do that? I went to God in prayer. God said, forget that one. There is no, I will say it in a colloquial way. God said, there's no road there. Okay. So I was at my wit's end, you know. So, and that was it. Why? Because the lady, or sister in quotes, she read maths, you know. So, but when God would lead me to my wife, it was a miracle. Because what I was looking for was in this person. You know, a kind of balance that I had. Arts, humanities background. You talk about writing, you talk about literature, you talk about language, you know, I'm there. And then God now brings this person because God has a very good sense of humor. That thing that you actually cherish, don't put it ahead of God. When you put God first, He's going to fill the void for you. He's going to give you somebody that will just make up that thing for you. You know, like God took one of the ribs from Adam and then created a woman. That's to fill the void. And not just that He created a woman, inside that same woman, there were multiple bones. So God gave him more than what he actually needed. So I see God doing that for me. So I think that's the best miracle that any man can ever ask for. That you have a godly wife, a woman who fears God. That even when both of you have challenges and issues, the Spirit of God can talk to you, and you have that humility to say, oh, I'm sorry. And then you reconcile, and then you get back on track. I mean, that has been the story so far. You know, so it's lovely.
Thank you so much.
I should stop there.
Okay, well, in fact, like, I've learned a lot. It's really, really good to hear, because many times, for things like this, we hear from the women, It's just good to get this perspective from the men. Any final words before we wrap up?
My advice to all men, not to women, and to men, is take time to listen to your wife. They carry a lot of load as well. So it's not just, okay, I'm the head of the home, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. They have a lot that they carry. You know, one of the things I appreciate most about my wife is the fact that she can multitask a lot. She's doing this one, she's thinking about this one, she's thinking about that. At the same time, she has some challenges as well. She goes to work, right? There are times you just want to offload. Let's pay attention.
Yeah.
Let's listen. Let's also make sure that we encourage them to be their best. You see, our wives, God, they are tailor made for us. They are not everything, right? And they can't be everything in one day.
Mhm.
So we need that support system. We need to support them to be their best. We should never compare them to other people. And don't you know about that sister? That's no. We shouldn't compare them. We should wait and encourage them to be their best for God.
Yeah.
And as we do that, God's going to help us.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Any final words?
Well, final word to our viewers. Well, like my brother has already said, this goes to men as well. There is something that always rings in my ears and, of course, in my heart, that the success of the home lies with the man.
Yeah.
I know the woman has a part to play, and the failure of the home as well. If the home crumbles, people will blame you as the man. And because normally we say you should know how to play the man.
Yeah.
That is, have the maturity. This home must succeed. This family must succeed. This marriage must work.
Right.
As a man, it will require you shifting ground.
Yeah.
There are times, your wife don't want to shift ground. To be a man, shift ground. It's not a weakness, no. It is strength. It means you are able to accommodate whatever comes. That way you'll be able to succeed, because when you succeed in your home, you'll be the pride.
Yeah.
Even God will be proud of you.
Yes.
That's my man over there. And so as a man, you always have to think about this so that we can have successful families. Thank you.
Wow. You have to shift ground. You have to listen to your wife. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but this is fantastic. I'm sure you've been blessed, because I have been blessed. I want to say thank you, Bro Aki and Bro Lumide. I really appreciate you doing this. God bless you. God keep your homes in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section. Let us know what you think. I'll be in the comment section. I'll be reading. And subscribe, share. Okay? All right. See you.